I mean, anybody else here that's serious about your financial freedom, it's like, that's what I want to help people with. I don't know how long these current opportunities are going to last. They're not over yet. And then, what he said about emotional controls earlier is important. That, like, if I'm in a good mood, it's the range between me and a very good mood or a very bad mood is a pretty narrow range. Like, I don't really have these super high highs or super low lows. Now, I used to. When I was a child, there was all sorts of chaos and nonsense, and that really beat the hell out of that. That part of my brain was abused so much that I'm just like, no. If you're up in the markets, that's nice. Keep working. You're down in the markets, well, that sucks. Keep working. Oh, the market's neutral today. Keep working. And I don't get worked up about whatever the fuck is going on. I just don't get worked up about it. It doesn't bother me much. It doesn't bother me much at all. And I don't get like crazy exuberant when, you and I had a conversation the same day or the next day that, I was up about $1.25 million in the stock market the one day, and you were up, I won't talk about your personal life, but you were up quite a nice chunk of money as well. And it's the same sort of conversation we'd have any other time, I didn't feel like, both of us were happy about it. It was like, that was a really nice day. That was great. But we're not like, planning a vacation. We're not like planning, hey, I'm going to change my life now and go on vacation. We're just like, oh, that was great,
There was one other subtlety about what Derek was saying, is that when he's saying to do something at the end of the day when you're tired, part of what you're doing is you're training your body to keep moving and pushing beyond it. So it's not a matter of, oh, what can I do, early on in the day, because that's the time when your willpower is low, your ability to think clearly is low, and if you're able to push through it, well, what happens in a crisis? Do you have the luxury of time? Do you have the ability to be able to reflect on what it is you're going to do? You have to take action. And that, when you're tired, you're hungry, you put in a long day, and you just do those extra two things, it's going to serve you really well when stuff becomes difficult, because you're not going to think, oh, okay, what do I need to do? You're like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. You'll maximize the amount of time you have. And when it comes to quick decision making, you won't hesitate. You'll just get up and do it. So there's that subtle nuance to what Derek was saying.
You don't even know yourself. You don't even know how tough you are or what a bitch you are until you still perform during tough environments. When you see other people giving up and capitulate, and you just keep moving, and that doesn't happen overnight. At first, you're going to feel like shit about it. At first, you're going to hate it. You're going to feel like shit. You're going to look around, everybody else gave up. They wouldn't judge you if you gave up too. And it comes from within. It has to be in your own thought. You won't have peer pressure to keep going. Everybody else gave up. And you can look around and watch them pausing and stopping and failing and throwing their hands up, waiting for the government to send them a $600 check. And that's what you get when you give up early. That's the equivalent of what you get. You get a $600 check, And the person who watches that happen, and instead of thinking like, oh, I could take a break too, and no one on earth would judge me negatively for it, it'd be perfectly normal. But instead you're like, that's pathetic. And you just keep, so at first you have to do that out of willpower and tenacity, and then later it's just a habit. It's just like a lifestyle habit that, you'll have so many benefits. If you do it through willpower, even for a few months, 3-4 months, if you use your willpower and make yourself do it, even for 3-4 months, you'll accrue so many benefits that later you'll be excited for the opportunity that when other people give up, you can keep going and just spread the gap between where you and them. In 2020, I unwound one business with my friend's company that I was bringing in over half of the revenue of their entire business. There's like me bringing in more than half, and then there's everybody else. And I'm being very polite to not talk about it or add a couple more colorful words in that. So I unwound that business. I got, disconnected myself from that business, built a brand new business that, did, it's no harm in saying, $4 million and change in the first 12 months. Then global, where everybody else is panicking and it's the end of the world. There's riots in my city, there's fires in my city, people are burning police cars outside. I'm staying up watching CNBC and Bloomberg late at night and reading financial statements, literally when there's fires outside and shootings right across the street. And I'm just, staying up, looking at the police, looking at the National Guard outside and reading financial statements until noon or 1 p.m., just all night long. Take a nap for a couple hours, do it again. My mother died in May. I was traveling. My lifestyle, I was traveling. Last year I had 110 flights on my main airline, and then maybe 8 or 10 more flights, so something close to 120 flights. I flew like 250,000 miles, like 400,000 kilometers in 2019. So that whole business was really fucked. My whole lifestyle changed dramatically. And in the mix of that, you unwind one business. Could have abandoned that totally, but I didn't. I rescheduled things with the clients. I showed up to take care of those clients. I went and built a new business. I took care of the stock market opportunities. I had 5 real estate transactions, about $4 million in real estate projects going on in the background, buying shit when nobody else would do that, and I made a lot of money in the stock market. First I shorted the market in March. Some of you were here in March, and Phil and I were having conversations about this, walking through the Venetian Plaza complex together. I don't remember, were you here in March? I think you were here in March. And
that was Hakkasan?
the last big club night, we went out over there somewhere, and then they closed the clubs. And then we were at Gold Spike. I think you were there at the Gold Spike nights. So that week, Phil and I were talking about shorting the market, and I was making a few $100,000. The one day that weekend, I had $260-some thousand I made, and I was talking to him about it, and I took a very large position that I was concerned about, and made a couple $1 million when the market opened on Monday. And anyway, at the end of the year, unwind one business, keep those clients happy, build a new business, mom dies, global crisis, total travel schedule, all your peer group, everything's changed. And December 31st, I'm up, just under 10 million, made about $10 million last year. So $10 million in 2020, when everybody else they're waiting for a $600 check. They're waiting for a $600 check. So that's a different species that's a different type of creature, And if it sounds narcissistic or arrogant, then maybe it does, but that's a different type of creature. I don't know what those other people are, but either I'm superhuman or they're subhuman. But that's a different type of creature. That's not what a normal person would do. But I think anybody else could do that too. And that's the other side of that. So I'll say what I said is very cocky, but I do believe it's true. And you know what? I think anybody else here could do that too. Why is it every time I keep saying to the group, what else do you want to talk about? You guys keep bringing it back to business, not me. You guys keep bringing it back to that. That's where the big opportunity is. That's where the big opportunity is. So, yeah, but those are just a couple bullet points. A couple bullet points, I could share for the timeliness of it. But you got to find a sincere, you got to want to do it. First you got to make yourself do it, and then you'll see such advantages for doing so that you get addicted to the process of saying, what else could I do? What else? What else could I do? There's another opportunity. What is it? If there was an opportunity, what might it be? Who else could see an opportunity that I'm not able to see right now? What would that look like? And then, it's a very three-dimensional model, and it's shifting in real time. And, then the news cycle happens, and the news cycle is going to fuck with you. So, I'd reiterate again, look, when I talk to my best, clients, people that I want to be long-term friends with, people that are in the mastermind group, is like, I fully expect, especially the younger ones in there, they're not supposed to do whatever I did. They're supposed to do a lot more than that. You get a good mentor or a good coach or a good teacher, not to do what they did, but to do what they did much quicker than they did it, and then go past that, That's the whole fucking point. So I don't have some thought in my head that I want those people to do very well. I want to try to help the people do very well. not everybody, the people out there don't even want to help themselves, you know? But you want to help the right people to do the best they can, that is still an expansion of your peer group, that you have high quality friends for the rest of your life, you know? So, I don't know, it's a couple bullet points. I got 10 more things I'd like to talk about in that vein, but what else, folks?
The different levels of nuance that you're talking about, where things might be going over some of the less experienced entrepreneurs' heads that are landing for somebody who's more experienced. Is there any to try to shorten that time horizon?
Several well-to-do entrepreneurs in the room are telling you to do that. If you haven't done that, do that.
I'll be in April.
It'll help you a lot. Like, really. We're going through the program right now. How many people have been involved in this program already? Is there, yeah. So, what are, I mean, geez, I don't want to say, personal things or private things, but, this guy manages some, huge projects. They're hundreds of millions of dollars and more. A couple projects that are over $1 billion. So did you learn anything in there that might help you with any of that?
That helped me focus so fucking much. Like, that alone is going to bring in so much more money than all 3 of those courses. The mastermind, 3 times the amount. But in the stock market this year, my portfolio was at 50%.
Before those, in the stock market, from November till November, before all those retailers and malls went up even more in December, my portfolio was up from November 30th till November 30th, whatever, last day of the month to last day of the month was up 222.75%. 222.75. That's the stocks that I still own. That doesn't account for options, for shorting the market and collected that money, various options contracts that I sold and collected that money, various trades that I did, etc. Is like that's like your current portfolio, current holdings, up 222.75%. So, can I do that every year? Absolutely not. But in a tumultuous year, can I do things like that? Will I do it again? 100% I'll do it again. I did it when I was 30. I just spent 11 years. I went to graduate school to learn how to do that better. I went to graduate school to understand finance, accounting. Why did I go to Chicago? What do they study at Chicago? Economics, number 1 econ program, number 2 finance program, number 3 accounting program. What did I focus on when I was there? Economics, finance, accounting. So I wanted to go there to do the hard, nerdy math things, like so much math. I know you're a very smart person. You're in graduate school yourself, yeah? You're in a doctorate degree, aren't you? Yeah, so you know how that feels like when you study so much that like you don't even feel like having sex, you're so immersed in your studies. You know what that feels like, yeah. So I didn't have to do that, but I was so excited about these topics that I wanted to do that, which, contributed to my ability to do some of these other things recently, So.
My percentage would have been way better if I didn't do if I factored out all the fucked up shit I did before I took the course. Like all the herd, momentum investing and all that other dumb shit before I knew what I was doing. Like, I got low 6 figures in the stock market right now. I bet you I'd probably be over 100% returns. I learned this shit first and then fucking did it. But it took some action. We learned along the way.
I could be mean right now and I could say, so do that math. How much did that cost you exactly? $500,000 more?
Earn those lessons learned.
I would never be that mean. But if I was, what would the number be? I could have 10 more people tell you to do that, but just, you're already doing that, and then also jump in this markets course, and you want to. If you look in your eye and you want to, just do it. Do it, you'll be happy. Anybody else here that's serious about your financial freedom, it's like, that's what I want to help people with. And I don't know how long these current opportunities are going to last. They're not over yet. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. There's a lot more upside to this. So we'll see. We'll see how long it lasts. But I'm happy to help with that. And just like your fucking doctoral program, bro, it's like, when they hand you that degree and you'll have your fancy braids and robes and shit and look like you're in some fucking secret society cult something. So that's great. But does that then mean that you know everything there is to know about that topic, or no, that just means that you have a good foundation to spend the rest of your life advancing the topic a bit and making your own contributions, you know? So I learn new stuff all the time. And, you know, the next recession, people always prepare for the last recession. And then the next thing comes and it's different. And then you got to fucking think through that whole, in your head, that whole catalog of reference points and library of reference experiences, if you will, you know? And it's the same type of things. You know, I'm always adding to that and trying to imagine what other crazy permutations of reality might be in the future, you know? And it'll be useful to you. Stuff you'll learn, you know, you'll learn in these that'll help you with money for the rest of your life. That I don't think it's an exaggeration. It's certainly true for me, but I wouldn't be the only one. It's like, how many people in the room that you think you'll make more money from your investments long term than you ever did from your income from like a job or your business even? How many think you'll make the most money from your investments long term? Yeah. So I will for sure. It's like, it's more powerful than even with my little graduate degree that I could go make a couple $100,000 or something, you know, or which is a bigger number, whatever I would make in an entrepreneurial thing, is like the fucking stock market, everything trades for a multiple. If you made $1 million in your business, you know, and you traded a Tesla multiple, it's, you know, 1.35 billion. So it's like, that's how these people, I'm not knocking them for it, by the way. It's like they didn't invent the system, they just utilized the system quite well, you know. But an Elon Musk has this tremendous wealth because the fucking stock is trading at 1,350 times earnings. Or Jeff Bezos has, you know, extraordinary wealth because the stock's trading at 90-something, 95-ish times earnings. I don't follow Amazon day to day, but that'd be the right order of magnitude. Could you look it up just to fact check me on that quick?
95.
So, I mean, that's how you get those huge numbers for those people. Or Buffett has the net worth that he has because he owns a bunch of companies that are trading at a multiple, you know? If he just owned one of those companies and was an operator, he'd be making, you know, 1/25th of the income, 4% of the income that he's making. So there's opportunities in the stock market there's nothing else in the world like that. And I'm not even talking about leverage. You know, you can borrow money and fucking leverage the accounts too, which I don't necessarily recommend for everybody, but I'm just saying just, you know, outright equity ownership without even leveraging the account and getting a multiple on that. So it's extraordinary. There's nothing else like it in the world as far as wealth creation. There's nothing else like it in the world. And then, you know, real estate's the other big one that you can make a lot of money with real estate. That real estate, you can have higher leverage, and it's not irresponsible to have, you know, if you made a fucking 10% down payment on a home, and it's, you know, then you have 9 times leverage because you owe 9 times as much as your equity is if you put 10% down. But I would never want 9 times leverage in my stock account because that means in that context, you know, if the market went up 10%, then you doubled your money. But if the market went down 10%, your account went to 0. So you wouldn't want to be doing that in stocks. But in real estate, it's common practice. And because real estate prices don't fluctuate nearly as much, so it's a reasonable thing to do in that context. But those are the 2 areas you can make crazy wealth, you know. So more than you could ever make in a career, more than you could ever make even in entrepreneurship by yourself.
The program was filled with amazing knowledge, guidance, and also the homeworks I got a lot of value out of. There were so many different things. Even if I obtained about 10% of what I learned, I'd be extremely grateful for that. I plan on retaking this course and going through videos at different points in my life to gain a new and different perspective. If you just stick with it, you're gonna succeed. So I'm really grateful for Derek and his team for helping guide me through this course. I'm excited for the future courses, and let's keep winning.
Thanks for watching. Success is not for everybody, and it may not be for you. If you are or are on your way to be a millionaire or multi-millionaire, probably going to want to spend time with my clients. Probably going to want to have a personal relationship with me so we can accelerate that process, get you living up to your maximum potential, earning your maximum wage. You're going to want to click that follow button. You're going to want to click that bell and get notifications. Tune in every Friday. Tune in every Monday. You're going to love what you see. I look forward to having you as a client in the future.